I've made over $63,000 in the last couple of months just from my personal brand. I've done this over and over every single month, selling my consulting as well as my coaching office. In this video, I'll be breaking down exactly on how you can build an authentic personal brand that attracts high-ticket clients every single month consistently. So whether you're a coach, you're a consultant, or an agency owner, this is the right video for you to start building a personal brand and scale to 10,000 followers and 10,000 in monthly revenue. And I'll be breaking down exactly each and every step of it. This is the most nerdiest way I'm going to breaking down. So I have the presentation which gives you more context and better understanding, and on the whiteboard I'll be zooming here quite a bit of times where I'm trying to double tap on some of the ideas that I want to discuss specifically in more detail. So this is going to be a long video. Make sure that you watch until the end in order to get every bit of the value that I'm providing. This is a kind of like a mini course. So first of all, I've done this without any paid ads, any complicated funnels. It's pretty simple. I haven't copied anyone. A lot of people out there, a lot of creators and a lot of personal brands who copy others and, just have the same hooks, the same scripts and all that stuff. But I've done this without ever doing it, and it's pretty much possible because I made sure that I build an authentic personal brand that is unique to me. And I don't want to be termed as someone, hey, like this is the person that's copying this person, right? I don't want to do that. That's why I've done it. And like I've done this without any paid ads again, like I mentioned before. So literally I've done this without even going viral. I do not have a crazy following. I only have around 70 to 80k followers combined across multiple personal brands. And if you even see properly, the best performing video in my personal brand was like 500k. Like that's about it. And I'll be breaking down exactly again why that video was also at 500k and why even the rest of the content pieces which didn't really perform well but brought in me a lot of cash and a lot of deals. Why listen to me? I've done this multiple times. I've scaled my consulting business to multiple 5 figures every single month just from my personal brands. I've cracked a code to charge high ticket in India. So all of my clients are pretty much Indian. It's not international, not US, UK or something like that. It's pretty much Indians who are paying me $3,000 per deal. More than $3,000. I recently charged over $4,000 per deal. So that's exactly why you have to listen to me. And not just that, I have taken this offer from literally 0 6 months ago to this kind of lifetime revenue in less than 6 months. I've worked with multiple clients, built multiple personal brands, worked with agency owners, coaches, fitness coaches, consultants as well, taking their personal brands to 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers, and made them over thousands and thousands of revenue just from the exact framework that I'm going to share to you right now. So yeah, what you'll learn today is brand mapping. How do you even build your brand in the first place? What are the kind of foundation that you need to lay in order to build a brand which is going to sustain for a longer period of time? Then we have the content strategy and the setup and how you can do it. All the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel content, the content themes, the content buckets, the ideas. How do you come up with ideas? How do you leverage AI in order to come up with content ideas that are going to go and get you cash? Lead gen and funnel systems as well. Like how do you even generate clients? How do you even convert your viewers into your paying customers? And then end of the day, we have the AI and actionable steps, which is the most important part of this video segment. So let's go to the main part, which is the foundation part of things. I'll take you one after the other. So brand mapping and foundation. So what is the difference between an Instagram account and personal brand? You might have seen a lot of accounts out there, right? For example, Warren Maya. Warren Maya is this AI creator who talks about AI, the new, updates about AI and tech media and all that stuff. You cannot call Warren Maya's brand as a personal brand, in my opinion, because end of the day, he's built his audience through new AI tech news and all that stuff, which makes it an Instagram account. He doesn't share a lot of personal life on it. Whereas if you see, again, I'm specifically speaking his short form content, the Instagram that you see, and let's say Daniel Dalen, right? Or let's say you have Iman Ghazi. Now, these people primarily has built their audience based on not just the information that they're sharing, not just the value that they're providing, but also their personal life, their experiences, who they are, what do they come from, what is their vision, what do they believe in, all that stuff. And that's why they make a lot of money through high ticket consulting. I mean, even he makes, he's playing a different game altogether. There's nothing wrong between which game to choose, but Warren Maya is playing a game in order to attract a lot of tech companies to Indian markets because he has his agency. It's just to prove that, okay, they can get a lot of distribution. That is what other tech companies and SaaS and startups want. Daniel Dalen and Iman Ghazi, on the other hand, are not chasing that. They're chasing B2B clients, B2C clients, so that they can sell their coaching offer or let's say host any masterminds and also grow their business. Iman Ghazi has his own consulting info product. He also has SaaS. Daniel Dalen has his logistics business, supply chain business, which cares about e-commerce. So he ideally attracts those kind of people. So you get the point, right? You gotta build a personal brand if you really want to have high ticket clients that are coming in. You want to build that connection with them. You want to build that authority with them and make sure that you are the one who's going to solve their problems. That's the kind of difference that you have. This is like the credibility brand idea. The second part, which is building your credibility. So first part, the main pillar of building your personal brand, like how do you build a personal brand now? There are three important sections that I'm going to talk about right now. So the first one is your credibility bank, or let's say what are your biggest achievements, right? For example, right now you're also watching this video because in the beginning of the video I've told you that I scale my brands, I've made this much amount of revenue, I've helped a lot of clients hit that 10k, 20k, 30k goals, and as well as get them so much monthly recurring revenue. Now that's the kind of credibility bank that I'm talking about. You have to understand, or you have to have clarity on why should people listen to you in the first place, and that's where the credibility bank comes into play. When you show your results, your journey, how you have transferred from this to this, right? When you have worked with your clients and what are the kind of results that you've gotten them, what is the kind of expertise and knowledge that you have in terms of content, like whatever the service that you're selling out there, right? When you start creating content about them, you start sounding more authentic based on the credibility. Because if you're like, I'll just give you an example, right? If Alex Hormozy uses this a lot. In his short form content, he's like, I've built a portfolio of companies which has a revenue of $250 million, and here are my 5 productivity tips. Now let's take another example. Here are 5 productive tips that you need to follow in order to become a millionaire. Who would you listen to the most? You would listen to Alex Hormozy because he has a proof, and now he is connecting that proof to the mechanism that he followed that got him there. But on the other hand, the second example, he's not talking about, like, you won't care about him because you don't know who this person is. He might be a billionaire, but if he doesn't use the credibility bank, you might not know him. You would not pay that attention to him. Those numbers, the achievements, the results is what really makes people listen to you. So if you're starting out, you gotta create a document, right? A doc of all the credible things that you got to do. So I would say sit with ChatGPT or any of the AI tool that you use. Tell exactly who you are as a person, what are the achievements, what are the credibles that you have, so that people have to care, right? People should care. Why should they listen to you in the first place? So that's first thing. So this is like the second pillar, which is contrarian opinion. Right now, let's say you have the credibility, but especially if you want to perform on short form content, you gotta have some kind of contrarian belief. A lot of people in my industry, right? If you really want clients, they be like, hey, you have to go viral. You have to copy this viral trend. You have to run ads on this. But you know what? I believe in something else. So what do? What you're gonna do is write a document, whatever the industry that you're in, whatever the niche that you're in, and draw a line in between. Write down what are the normal general nuances that people believe in your industry. And on the other hand, write down if you disagree or agree, or what kind of other opinion do you have on the point that you mentioned on the left side. Let's say you write 10 points of these, and then you might disagree with 3 of them. Now that becomes your gold mine. Now that becomes your contrarian belief document. You create a different document, or you can also use the same document, right? You can just rewrite what you believe in. And what you're gonna do is create a bank, like, a document of all the contrarian opinions that you have in your industry. Let's say there are some people in your industry be like, I have to grind 14 hours. But you might be like, no bro, like you don't have to. All you need is 8 deep working hours, right? More proactive sessions. So write down all the contrarian opinions that you have and create a document again. So right now, until now, we have 2 documents if you have lost. One is the credibility bank. The second one is the contrarian opinion document. So if you even see in the presentation, right, you have different documents here. Now what happens, like why is this important, is because it creates a differentiation among the other people in your industry. Because end of the day, people don't want to see the boring opinions, the boring conversations that you're going to talk about in your videos. People want to see something different, and different is always new. And when you also put different opinions, you also get a lot of engagement because people fight in the comments, right? Hey, no, I don't think this is real. I think this is right. Now people debate about your contrarian opinions. So this is exactly why this works. A lot of entrepreneurs make this one mistake though. They do not understand the clear differentiation between contrarian opinion and controversial opinion. Controversial opinion can be an example of Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has some controversial opinions. I would say if you really want to be in the business for a longer period of time, don't even try to do it, because that spreads more than the positive impact that you're creating online. Coming to a contrarian opinion, you have your opinion backed up with real data to prove, or let's say personal life experience, or the way you work and all that stuff. You get the point, right? Again, if you're not aware about this side of things, what the other industry thinks, you can again always ChatGPT, right? Research the top 10 creators in your niche. Understand what do they truly believe in, right? What do they truly believe in terms of your niche or your industry, and list them all, and then you have to come up with your own opinions. Make sure that you at least have 2 to 3. Yeah, and you'll always have them, right? It's not just about the industry like I talked about, like even if I'm talking about anything, right? You'll always have anything that is completely opposing to the majority of the opinions. So yeah. Now, the third pillar, which is the ICP and the IVP. Now, this is a very crucial one. I'm just going to differentiate between what an ICP and what an IDVP is. ICPs. I know most of the people who are watching this right now might know that you're an ICP, what an ICP is. So let's just draw a circle, another circle over here. If you were to guess, this one becomes your ideal viewer profile, which is also called the IVP. Now this one is called the ICP, the ideal customer profile. Now this person is going to buy from you, but in order to get this person, you gotta get the IVP first, because IVP is where the ICP usually is hidden. So what I'm going to talk about right now is how do you even find what your IVP is, and how do you even get to your ICP so that they buy from you. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. So first of all, you got to understand who are you selling in the first place, the demographics of this person, right? If you can, first of all, on a broader spectrum, you have to analyze who your IVP is in the first place. So demographics, who are they, age, location, role, and company. You can have approximate numbers, not specifically this person, but what I would recommend is create an ideal avatar. Let's say you name him Raju, and then you talk about this person, right? You talk about who this Raju is. He's a 26-year-old, and what are his demographics? What is he aged? Like, when does he return from office? When does he even scroll? Like, what does he even think in the midnight? And all that stuff. The current state, right? Their revenue, their followers, the pain point, and their current struggles. So just write down both of these. You also have to list down what are the pain points. That is the most important part. The pain points, what are they struggling with? And then you have desired outcome. Where do they want to end up? Then you have beliefs and objection. So what do they believe in, especially in terms of that is stopping them from going from that pain point to that dream state? So what are their mental barriers or objections that they have? And these objections are pretty much the objections that you get on a sales call when you're trying to sell the offer that you have created. Then you have buying triggers. For a lot of people, there are a lot of other variations to it. Now, just to give you an example, I'll give you offer that is pretty common, right? Personal branding. Let's say personal branding is an offer that I'm selling to people. Now let's figure out who the IVP is and who the ICP is, just from an example. So you get a clear idea of who this person is. So IVP pretty much wants to build a personal brand because he knows that personal brand is high leverage, right? He have seen one of the top creators be talking about it, Naval Ravikant talking about it, a lot of people, and he wants to build distribution for sure. Now let's say you want to target your entrepreneurs and the high ticket clients, right? So these are pretty much typically your doctors, your lawyers, and your consultants, and your business owners and coaches. So let's just type in usually entrepreneurs, or let's say wannabe entrepreneurs. So this is what you're going to do. Now what do they usually do? They're trying to create content, but they do not have clear direction moving forward. That's where they need your help as well. Content strategy. Now this is kind of broad, and that's how ICP is also supposed to be. The ICP, on the other hand, has all of this, but you also mention what are the qualification purposes. Let's say any entrepreneurs from 10K plus, making 10K plus already from their other business, right? That's a qualification. The other one could be, maybe you're only specifically targeting e-commerce business owners. So you can just put in e-commerce. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Someone who's stuck with the same problem. The pain points are always going to be the same. The qualification purpose is just going to be different because this person is specific to this industry and he's making a certain amount of money. Usually, this is like the common pattern that I observe from most of the offers out there. It differs for certain very niche offers, but usually the ICP is the one who can afford it. Again, like who's ready to buy right now. Like he's ready to buy from you right now. He's pretty much nurtured. This guy is sold to your idea and he wants to start early because his competition is catching up. He wants to ready to buy right now. Because sometimes what happens is this IVP converts into your ICP once you launch a different offer. Let's say there might be another agency owner here and you launch a different offer for agency owners and coaches. He might become your next ICP. So your ICP always comes from your IVP based on the filters that you put over here. And for here, I've just put the revenue markers, the kind of industry that I want to work with, and the time duration from thinking about it to actually executing and, buying from me. So that's a kind of differentiation that you got to set up. So what you got to do is completely fill out an entire document. You can use ChatGPT deep research in order to understand who these people are. So once you have this document, it will be pretty much easy for you to understand, okay, who this person is and who am I even targeting in the first place. And it'll also give you ideas on what are the next steps that I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. It'll help you with all the content strategy, the content buckets, the content topics, and how do you even position them in order to attract them into your funnel. So it's pretty important. So yeah, then we have visual identity, one of the most important part of things. A lot of people really overlook this, but this is really what makes every brand stand out in the internet. Because bro, like end of the day, BMW and Mercedes has produced the same German cars, the same pricing, all that stuff. They have pretty much common, competitive cars in the same segment. It's not like there's two different or, it's completely different or all that stuff. But the way they brand themselves are completely different. Mercedes brands themselves as someone who loves luxury, someone who loves sophistication, someone who loves to be chauffeured around, right? But BMW is all about driving, right? It's all about aggressive. It's all about sportiness. It's for the young blood who got early money, right? Mercedes is, on the other hand, is more about mature, old audiences, millennials and all that stuff. So the way they brand different is again from visual storytelling. They've chosen who to really attract, and based on that they've started branding themselves and visually representing themselves. So I'm going to talk about it right now. It's going to be touch upon it. I'm not going to go too deeper into it, but everyone has to have their own mood board is what I really encourage everyone. So what this mood board does is for you is to give you an understanding, especially for you or your creative director or let's say your editor, to really understand the taste of your brand. Now that is where a lot of people really go wrong, right? If you see Daniel Dayton, for example, as well, right? He has very consistent colors in his brand. The orange, the dark, the warm texture, the old money aesthetics, especially for the photos that he posts, the kind of videos, the kind of cameras that he uses, right? Now let's say on the other hand, Iman Ghazi has more like green, gray, or dramatic color shades. Daniel Dayton has more fun, energetic kind of branding. So you gotta understand who you are as a person in the first place, right? Are you that Mercedes or are you that BMW who is aggressive and who is sporty? You have to understand who that person is, and based on that you gotta choose different colors. Again, it's not super complicated. Just pick something neutral, something that, for example, white, gray, black, which is neutral, and then pick something that is secondary color, which is going to be as your highlight color, the bold color. It can be orange for Creatorpreneur OS. Like I have different offers, different personal brands, and I have different colors for both of them. And people can immediately notice the difference. On one personal brand I have orange, on the other personal brand I have navy blue, and that's the kind of difference that I've made. I also have an agency which has green. So choose which color do you really go with, because I choose an orange is because there's a lot of trust factor. There's a lot of, especially in this business, trust is most important. Orange gives that trust, warm, energetic kind of vibe, whereas blue as well, like blue gives you a lot of educative, I don't know why educative, but yeah, that's what I felt. That's what I felt. And a lot of subtle. It's not too, like, you know, it's not screaming for attention. That's why I love blue as well. Green again for sophistication, luxury. That is like dark green. Sage green as well. A lot of minimal, modern, simple design. That's why I've chosen those colors. So really, like, you know, just take the screenshots of all the reference videos that you've saved in your saved folder and take the screenshots and put, like, you know, for example, this is how this kind of video should look like. This is how my carousel should look like. This is how my videos are going to look like. This is the kind of editing style. This is the kind of fonts that I'm going to use, consistently use, because branding is what? It is pairing up all these elements consistently so you build a brand altogether. A lot of people also notice my typography effects that I create on my reels, which is pretty famous, and they immediately know, okay, this is Varshad's style, right? That's the kind of image that you gotta create. So moving on to the other one. See, again, I've talked about pairing those consistent elements. This is what I'm talking about. What you wear, again, I typically dress like this: polos, zippers, sometimes hoodies, right? This is my cycle. For other people, it can be athleisure, very old money, right? You know, jackets. For some other people, it's going to be like rider jackets, bomber jackets, all that stuff. Where you film, again, I could bring my New York vibe in my content because a lot of my content is shot in New York. Depends on where you stay, where you're based out of, and how you can leverage it properly. Then you have brand colors. Again, if you see Daniel Dayton over here, a lot of warm colors, a lot of yellows, oranges, and reds. And POV, like Daniel Dayton has mastered his thumbnail. It's not that hard to replicate, but if you replicate it, they're gonna say, hey man, you're copying Daniel Dayton. So have a unique touch to it, right? Maybe you can have a different word altogether, different font altogether, different kind of image altogether. Just find which one works for you, which one you can start, you know, like which is easy for you to replicate. And honestly, you cannot fake it. You gotta live through it. Then you have personality elements. Again, not gonna touch upon too much about it. The language that you use. Be authentic, be raw. Again, because earlier I spoke about authentic personal branding, right? This is what I'm talking about. Don't try to fake someone. Don't try to sound smart when you're not. Overly smart, right? Overly smart. When you use words that people don't understand, that's the biggest blunder that you're making. Because content is like, not everyone who's consuming content is pretty, you know, he's focused on consuming. He might be sitting somewhere else and then scrolling, right? So the language that you use is very important. How you speak is very important. The stories that you tell. So instead of telling people, hey, I work too hard, I'm a hard worker, talk about what hardworking is for you. Like, bring up the story so that people can understand you're hardworking. For example, I can be like, hey, I used to work around 14 to 16 hours, sleep only for 4 hours just to get one video done and post every single day consistently for the next 90 days. And I've done it for 90 days. This is a true story, by the way. But this is what you're going to talk about. You're not going to talk about, hey, I'm hardworking, listen to me. No, you don't tell that. You tell a story. People remember stories more, because now you're going to remember the story more than me coming and telling you, hey, I'm hardworking, right? That's why stories really work a lot. And again, the unique works, right? Just list down what makes you, like, what makes you different from others. I don't really sound super sophisticated. I don't act like I have everything figured out. I just share who I am as a person. I crack jokes in between. I don't know if I'm funny, but yeah, I do that. I don't know if you have, but yeah, whatever that is, right? I'm authentic on the camera. I'm not like faking and coming and, you know, like talking some different accent on the camera and trying to sound different when I'm not that person in the first place. I am being me, being raw. So write down all the unique traits that you have that differentiates you from the other people in your industry. That's how you beat the competition. That's how you, it's not even beating the competition, it's finding your audiences who relate to you. I'm telling you, those are the ones who's going to convert a lot, and those are the ones that you really want to work with because they relate to you right now. But yeah, that's it. And the next most important pillar, right? So the first one is the Contrarian, the credibility bank, and then we have the unique mechanism, which is very important. So what the F is the unique mechanism? This might disappoint some people, but hear me out. Unique mechanism is, for example, you're a fitness coach. How is your product unique, or what is the service that you're providing is unique to the other people out there? So you got to dial that down. It can be anything, right? The content that you produce, or let's say the diet wise content here. It's a fitness coaching program. It's a diet that you design, right? It can be any diet. A lot of people might say, again, it goes back to the Contrarian thing. How is it different? Do you use any other techniques in order to make sure that they're accountable? Maybe you have a different app, you have a different dashboard in order to track all those deals. That a lot of people are doing WhatsApp, right? Like they usually check in on WhatsApp and all that stuff. Maybe you have a SaaS. You vibe coded this and you launch it for your audiences to make it even much more fun, much more gamified version of it. A great idea, by the way. It really popped up in my brain randomly right now. But yeah, you can develop a SaaS to gamify their progress. A different coaching method. Maybe you go in person, maybe you're online, right? You might be on the calls while they're working out. Just figure out what your unique mechanism is. Then a lot of different coaches. Again, don't, stress on it too much. Just figure out like 2 things that you can differentiate yourself from the people. So people, when they look at you, right, they know what to expect. And they kind of also excited. Because like, see, I'll just give you another example. Let's say there is Cadbury and there is Nestle. If both are producing milk bars, I'll take a better example. Let's take Nestle and you have Hershey, and both are producing chocolate bars. If you do not have a different flavor to it, if you do not have a different packaging to it, or you do not have a different, kind of flavors in it, nutritional values in it, why would someone even choose you? They would randomly choose Hershey's, right? Because they're in the market since a very long time. So you got to understand what is your unique mechanism in the offer that you're providing. I hope this is clear. I hope this example didn't land badly. For example, again, like I said, something that I do with my clients is we have a SaaS. That's why I gave you the SaaS example, right? We have SaaS in order to completely track all their leads, their sales systems and all that stuff. We create, again, other than the other personal brands, other people do not really create a visual identity and really focus on the branding, right? But we focus on branding because if you see any premium brands out there in the market, in the luxury space, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Bentley, Ferrari, Porsche, all of this have a unique visual branding elements, and that's why it is super aspirational and you kind of draw towards it. And you remember how a Ferrari feels like, you remember the red color. That's what I'm talking about. So we focus on like visual branding, right? We focus on authentic personal branding, right? That is something that we do. Other people tell you to copy trends, tell you to copy formats, but we say be an authentic personal brand. Other people might say, hey, post 10 times a day, or let's say 10 times a week. We are like, hey, post how much ever you want, because end of the day, my goal is not to burn the F out and actually, but it is instead to make you super consistent in order to create content so that you enjoy the process, you don't hate it. Because content is something that you gotta keep doing, bro. Like if you burn out in the first couple of weeks, what's the point, right? You gotta enjoy it. And that's why I'm going to create different systems altogether. And what else do we do? Yeah, we create AI infrastructure as well. So this AI infrastructure, when it comes to your personal branding, this has all the memory. So we ourselves create all the resources that I spoke about: the credibility bank, the ICP, the IVP mapping, the Contrarian, the unique thing for you, the visual branding for you as well, and what are your content themes, what are your content strategy, which I'm going to talk about in the next coming seconds. But we create all the documents for you. We also do the competitive research and analysis so that you sit back and relax and only focus on creating content, right? We give you a plan, kind of themes that you need. We train an entire chatbot for you specifically based on this resources. So once you're gone, because we offer a consulting program, after the period of, if the period ends, right, you can still start producing scripts, viral hooks, through that AI, which I'm going to talk about in the end of the video. But again, like I said before, right, this is what I do. This is a dashboard that if you can look, AI technology. I also hand over resource documents, software tools. So which is find yours, and that's the most important part. Now, we are entering to the next session, which is content strategy. I love this part. Now, this is a very big thing that I'm going to talk about, which is going to change the way that you build your personal brands and how you sign clients. First of all, let's start with the basics, right? Platform. What platform do I choose? A lot of you might be inclined towards Instagram and Instagram and YouTube. These are the main platforms. Since like a lot of my ideal clients who are watching this might be any kind of entrepreneurs, coaches, or consultants, or agency owners, you might be pretty much inclined towards Instagram and YouTube, and that's a good place to be in. But for example, if you're you're a B2B agency owner, for you, IG might actually be a wrong option. You might instead create content on LinkedIn and secondary on YouTube. If you're a tech founder, you're a B2B tech founder, it can be, again, IG might not be a bad thing for you, but even Twitter, focusing on Twitter instead of YouTube can be a better option. So the platform really is very important. You got to understand where your ideal clients usually hang out. So if you see that, you'll be able to figure out, okay, which platform should I really focus on? And that's the kind of clarity that you need to have. But let's focus on Instagram and YouTube for today, because a lot of my viewers who are watching this are pretty much coaches and consultants and service-based business owners who are primarily hanging out on YouTube and Instagram. Now why these platforms, why picking up two different platforms are important. Instagram is distribution channel and YouTube is nurturing channel. Again, this also can be traffic based, but it's primarily nurturing, and Instagram is for distribution. You attract your IVP that I spoke about in the first part of the video through Instagram. You also nurture some of that, but most of the nurturing happens through YouTube. I'll tell you an interesting fact, something that we have analyzed from our side, from the data that we've tracked. A person from Instagram who turns into our client usually takes around 3 to 9 months or even more, but this is like the average. I would say even not even 3, I would say 4. This is minimum. So any Instagram reel that you're posting today will convert him to cash after 4 months. On a very luck chances, it happens instantly, because he might be already looking for it and you have a crazy offer that he cannot resist. But usually on an average basis, if we take all the data that we mentioned, it's going to be 4 to 6 months. But with YouTube, guess how much it is? You'll have more cash collected in actually under 30 days. I would not even measure this with days, bro. I would actually measure this with videos. Minimum 1 video, maximum 3 to 4 videos. That's it. He was already nurtured and he's already pre-sold and is waiting for you to pitch him, or maybe the only constraint for him would be, he might not have funds. But if he has funds, bro, he's already converted. That's the kind of leverage at both of these platforms. The power of these platforms. So YouTube should always be your main role in terms of nurturing and building the trust, and Instagram should be always about traffic and getting viewers. Because once you have viewers, you can always direct them towards your YouTube. So with IG, that's your thing, right? You can mention your YouTube video in the bio. You can have in the bio over here with a link, your main video link, and then you have your YouTube, where this link takes you to your YouTube and they always watch your content. So even if this person arrives literally today, right, he watches one of your reel, he follows you and he sees a YouTube channel that is linked to your bio, he clicks on it, he watches 1 to 3 videos and he's converted. That's what I'm talking about. And not just that, right? You can also give out lead magnets from your reels to your YouTube. So that'll always nurture your audience way quickly than just Instagram. That's why having both of them is easiest, because again, driving traffic through YouTube is harder. But if you do that with Instagram, it's much more easier. Moving on to the 3 most important, parts of the funnel. Let's draw different circles here. The top of the funnel. Now this is called the top of the funnel, which is also called as tofu. This is called middle of the funnel. Let's call it mofu. And this is, cute names. But yeah, top of the funnel content is what gets you all the viewers. So this covers a lot broader audiences. This is not very in-depth content. This is something that gets a lot of views in your niche. For example, if you're a fitness coach, again, a best example would be for tofu, right? Top of the funnel content. Work with me, day in my life as a gym trainer or a fitness coach. That can be one idea. Other one could be 7 ab workouts to build a 6-pack figure. That can be your top of the funnel content because everyone is interested in your top of the funnel content. Now this is attracting a lot of ICP. It is just driving a lot of ICP into your funnel. It is driving a lot of IEP into your funnel. Now how do you differentiate ICP from your IVP? Now once I enter into the middle of the funnel, right, how do you make them enter is by creating very niche down content. For example, you're working with entrepreneurs who are busy, who are between 20 to 30 years old. Now the middle of the funnel content would be, if you're an entrepreneur who's struggling to be consistent in fitness, this is the exact workout plan that you need to follow. It might not be top of the funnel content, but it'll be your middle of the funnel content because this also nurtures them, builds that trust, and you are identifying the exact person that you really want to reach out to by calling out their name in the first few seconds. Now what happens? They get activated. Now how do you do it? How do you track these people? You give them a lead magnet with a document, or let's say the workout routine that I've mentioned, right? You create this document here. You can put a ManyChat automation like, hey, comment the word doc, or let's say entrepreneur, and these people comment entrepreneur, and then you'll have the document. Now, since we have mentioned and targeted this towards our ICP, who's an entrepreneur who's struggling to work out on an every daily basis, you're giving out this free value to them, a workout plan that they can follow. Now, how does it help them? Now, how does it help you as a coach, to attract your ICP? Now, what you do is, since a lot of entrepreneurs are going to be the one who will be commenting over this, or busy professionals who can still be your ICP if they can afford you. Like if they are busy, that means they are they might be entrepreneurs or any good professionals, and they might have a lot of money. So at least 60% we can tell like these people are your pure ICP. Now what you're gonna do is just have conversations with them. Now how do you do that? How do you get to the flow? How do you even send the messages? I'm gonna get to it in the next segment of the video, which is sales and your DM flow and all that stuff. But for now, stay with me. You're going to have conversations with them. You're going to manually qualify them, and you're going to pitch them your service that you offer. You can be like, hey, I do this. Would you be interested to hop on a call for 60 seconds? Because this person is a warm lead and he might be interested in your service. That's how you trigger your ICP through the lead magnets that you're providing. Any kind of niche, this is exactly how I do. If you're a coach, I will literally send this video that I'm recording right now as a lead magnet, and he replies to it and have a conversation with them. Because there's a good chance that I might actually sign a lot of people from this lead magnet I'm sending out, the conversation that I'm going to be having. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So it's great if this person also follows you now and he's been following since a very long time. And even if it doesn't, if you produce a long form video like this, he gets nurtured. If a document, he might not get a lot of nurture, like he might not be super nurtured, but if he's following you since a very long time, you can ask him directly, like, hey, how long have you been following me, right? Because the conversation that you have with this person, new follower, is completely different. You figure that out. And now, let's say you've done your lead magnet stuff, but there's another way, to also trigger your ICP. Because who knows, maybe your ICP is not struggling with workout routine. Maybe he's struggling with his food, his nutrition. What does he even eat in order to reduce his fat and increase his muscle? That's where bottom of the funnel comes in. Now, this is not reels. Yeah, it can be carousels, but these are primarily story sequences. These are your story sequences. So story sequences are to trigger your ICP. I'll come to this. Now, this is how you actually push all your ICP into your chats and have conversations with them. I'll talk about the story sequences more in the next couple of minutes. But before that, I'm going to talk about your content pillars. So make sure, I'll just write down here what I need to talk about. One is DM flow. Before that, I'm going to talk about story sequences and an in-depth strategy that I use in order to close all the deals that I've talked about in the beginning. And some of 40 to 50,000 revenue came from this story sequences, and the remaining 10,000 to 20,000 came through lead magnets. Yeah. So now we're talking about content pillars. Now, what are these content pillars? Usually, your content revolves around these 5 pillars only. It's typically, the content topics that you want to talk about in general. You can also call them as, let's say, buckets or pillars, whatever that you want to call it. So you're going to basically create content in only these pillars and buckets. I think I literally said that multiple times now, but yeah. For example, you can have, I'm telling my example, some of my clients' example as well. Let's say you're working with freelancers and agency owners to scale to 10K a month. That is the kind of coaching business that you're starting up. Now I'm going to talk about these important pillars. I would say, first of all, have only 3 to 5. I would say 3 to 4 at max, not more than that. If you do more than that, the content just becomes super complicated for your audiences to understand. So first of all, talk about your personal life. your documentation, right? Just talk about who you are as a person, what do you do, what are your values, what do you feel in a certain way, what are the realizations that you have, all of that stuff. The second thing can be about info based. What I was talking about is, if you're a coach who's trying to help freelancers and the early stage entrepreneurs to scale to 10K a month, your personal life can be about usually your agency life. What is the kind of mindset that you need to have, some of the lessons that you've learned from your mentors, or let's say in the business, your daily life, to make it super aspirational, and some of your opinions, again coming from contrarian opinions, of what you believe about society, what you believe about this culture, that kind of lifestyle and all of that stuff. Just talk about all these things. Now what it is going to do is serve a different purpose, which I'm going to talk about in the end, like in the next few minutes. So info-based content is going to educate people. What is the outreach system that will help you? What are the copywriting skills that you need? What are the tools that you need? Basic expertise-led stuff. On the third part, you're documenting your journey of your business, of your agency. What is happening in your agency? What is happening in your business? How are you dealing with your clients and all that stuff? And the fourth one, your case studies. So it can be the mentees that you've already helped with, people that who have already taken your coaching and benefited from it. It can have client interviews. It can have normal documentary style videos. It can have general talking heads with the person, or you just coming onto the camera and talking about it. Now let's say these are the 4 buckets that I have positioned here. I'll exactly tell you how each bucket is going to help you in each way. The personal life documentation format is going to help you build that connection with your audience. This is where they feel relatable. This is where you feel relatable to them. This is where you build that connection with them, and this is where you actually build that bond. Hey man, like I love Varshit's personality. I love his values. I love the way he cares about life, the way he looks at his life, the philosophy, right? The values that he have, the intentions that he have, the vision that he have. This is who I relate with. He also works hard, I also work hard. He also dreams big, I also dream big, right? This is where you feel relatable. Now info based, and again, even here, right, you're giving out your vulnerabilities, like talking about your failures, talking about your wins and all that stuff. Now this is going to be aspirational. This is going to trigger that aspirational feeling for them, because now when they watch your documentation, they're like, I want to be in that man's position, bro. Like I want to have that wins in my life. Let's say closing that $30K deal, that feels unreal for a lot of people. That becomes aspiration. They get inspired from it. They get aspired from it. That is what I'm talking about. And also it connects with you. Again, like you build that bond with him. They see you growing when you're documenting your journey. Let's say you go from 10K to 30K, 30K to 50K, 50K to 100K. You are always aspiring. You're building a community of a lot of the same units, and it's actually going to attract a lot of ICP, right? Direct ICP. Now, info-based and case studies. Info-based and case studies are going to make you position as authoritative and an expert. Because see, you might have all these things, but when you showcase your expertise by giving out information to people, that's when they see you as an expert, that you can go and solve their problems and help them get to their dream outcomes, because they want to be in your position, but they also want to understand, they also want to sense that, okay, this person knows what he's talking about. He knows the shit. That's why you're going to produce info-based content. This is what is going to put you into that authoritative expert state, that leader state, and build that trust as well. So combining all of these, the relatability factor, the bond, when they see you a lot of times from your personal life, when they see you talking about expert-led content, when you're giving out value to people, when you're giving out free lead magnets to people, free value to people here, when you're sharing some case studies and testimonials of your people that you worked with, to help them grow their agencies and all that stuff. Now all of this together builds crazy amount of trust. That's why you're going to divide all your content into these 4 important pillars. The end goal is simple, right? You can have any kind of pillars, but the point is you gotta build that connection with them. You gotta make sure that you establish yourself as an expert to solve their problems. Make sure you're aspirational by posting some pictures of you in Bali, or let's say you're traveling in business class, you're traveling multiple countries, you're gifting your parents. And case studies again. If you really want to get more clients, pre-sell them directly, close deals on DMs directly like I do. Case studies is the way to go. So yeah, like these are the content pillars, content buckets that you need to have. It's not specifically these 4 things, but like I said before, you need to trigger those feelings of relatability, that authority, expert, the documenter, the aspirational guy, the inspirational guy, and all that stuff. Once you have it, just figure out which content buckets would get you those feelings, and you can blindly believe in the system that it's going to get you an audience who's going to buy from you. This is just an example on how you can format into things. If you're growing, right, again, coming back to the top of the funnel thing and all that stuff. Your lifestyle, your documentation, and your info-based content can again be classified into all of these three things. Like the content pillars can be subdivided into content pillars based on what you want. You can also create info-based content for a broader audiences. You can also create info-based content for your niche audiences. So choose what you want to do. Again, like authentic storytelling as well. Like you directly talking to the camera, you can address a lot of people. You can also address your ICP directly. Like, solve their brain, limiting barriers, or let's say the objections that you typically get on sales call. Directly talk to the ICP. They might get less views, but that will clear those objections from their head and actually pre-sell them. So that once they hop onto the call, all they ask is, hey bro, what's the payment and how do I pay? So you got to be in that position. So next one is posting cadence. Not going to be super in depth about this, but it's pretty simple. If you're starting out, do not follow what other gurus are telling. Post every single day, post 2 videos, post 3 videos every single day. Don't do that. End of the day, content has to be enjoyed. I used to post every single day way before. I stopped doing that. I posted 2-3 videos every single week. I posted every alternative day, then shifted to posting every single day. And now I have taken a break from content because I burnt out. And from that experience, I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't do the mistake I'm doing right now. Do something that is going to make content creation super enjoyable for you. Now, how do you do it? You figure it out by experimenting. So let's say start by posting for 1 week, try 2 videos in a week, then 3 videos and 4 videos and video every single day. If that video every single day is burning you out, switch to 3 videos or 4 videos in a week. This again, like if you're just starting out who doesn't know how content works and all that stuff, volume is the game that you need to play. Post every single day, even if it's raw. Even if you don't know exactly what content is performing, because you gotta have a lot of data to figure out which is quality content and which is not. And in order to figure that out, you need to go all in terms of the quantity that you're putting out. So you might have the best books, you might have the best resources, you might have the best videos like these, talking about how you can, the number of videos that you can create and how you can write better hooks and scripts and all that stuff. But if you do not have the data, you do not know which content will go viral, which will work better, which will get you cash. So you gotta understand which content is going to get you all of that stuff. And how do you track it is what I'm going to talk about right now, which is the most important metric. So every content that you put out has to have an intention behind it. It's not that you're putting some random content out there. I would say, look at all the top creators in your niche. Look at the top creators in other niches as well. Look at the top creators, how they're creating content in the format that you want to create, which I'm going to talk about the formats. I'm going to come there. But let's say the people who are creating in your niche, take the top 10 people. Look at the content and see which content pieces, which content ideas are getting the most amount of views. Now this means traffic. What is driving so much traffic to them? Second part, understand. Again, this is something that you cannot understand, but only see what is the most amount of traffic that they're getting. Second thing, the second intention behind it is nurture. Nurture and activate ICP. I call this activating the ICP because ICP is always buried in your IVP that I mentioned, the big circle, right? So you got to activate them. How do you activate them? You call them out. Literally, when I mean call them out, you literally call them out. Hey, if you're a coach struggling to make 10K a month, you can always use a better hook. That's a bad hook. That's a very generic ad hook, but you get the point, right? I've researched over hundreds of coaches out there trying to create content, but this is what the top 3% are doing. What am I doing here? I'm calling out coaches because my traffic-based content could be, this is exactly how you build a personal from 0 to 10,000 followers. Now that's like a niche content. It can be entrepreneurs, it can be students, it can be college students, everything. Usually I could niche it down to being like, this is how you can build a personal brand as an entrepreneur. And then in the nurturing part, I can call out the coaches because this is going to be not a lot of wide. This is going to be specific audience that are coaches. So I'm going to get low views, but this is going to nurture them. This is going to build that trust. And imagine pairing this up with a lead magnet that I'm going to provide. Let's say I'm giving them this video. By end of this video, I know these people are going to get nurtured and book a sales call with. How? This reel is going to activate the ICP and divert them to the lead magnet that I've created for them specifically. And when they watch this, they're going to enter into my funnel. That's how content works. So nurture, traffic, and the third one can be it can be handling objections. Now this is for the next stage, which is when they hop onto the sales call, you hear a lot of objections. So if you have a lot of sales calls that you've already taken, if you have the recordings, I would highly suggest put those recording transcripts into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what are the most objections that I get on the sales call. Now what you can do is literally pick these objections and start creating content about it. What it is going to do, again, activate your ICP and pre-sell them. So once you talk about this objection already in the reel, people who watch this, the ICP who watches this, once they hop onto the sales call, they're like, hey bro, like let's start working. I hopped on the call in order to pay. That's how you're going to pre-sell them. You get the point, right? So this are the key intention things that you need to track. So you want to understand how much amount of content am I posting every single month, which gets you traffic, which nurtures ICP, which handles objection. If you're just starting out, you do not have any distribution, your majority of the focus should go on to building traffic. Now once you have traffic, switch to nurturing, and once you switch to nurturing and handling objection. So based on how much distribution that you're able to create content upon it, because once you have traffic, you can start activating your ICP. That's the whole point. So it depends on where you are. I would say if you're starting out, go with 60% and most traffic, 30% and nurture and activate, and handling objection can be 10%. That's the kind of content that you need to be creating if you're just starting out. And track them, right? What is the KPI for you for the first category? Traffic leads is how many amount of views that you need to get. For second one, it can be how many amount of people that you want them in your DMs who are replying for your, how many amount of qualified people are replying to you in the DMs for the lead magnet you're putting out. Track those leads. And that's why I built my SaaS in order to track every single metric that is coming from it, like I showed you, right? So this is only for my clients. I'm not launching it outside. If I'm launching it, I'll put the link in the description, but this is specifically for my clients that I've designed as a part of the Creatorpreneur OS. But yeah, once you have this is pretty much, let's talk about the last part of content structure. The next part is going to be about lead funnel and the sales part of things. So right now, let's talk about content formats. I have analyzed over 20 plus formats in the entrepreneurial coaching, consulting, and online business. And I figured out there are only a handful of formats that you can start using them in order to have the most amount of distribution, in order to build the most amount of trust, and in order to get the most amount of clients. The first one, day in my life, a very, a popular trend that I used to do a lot of things. Super viral potential, not super, 3 out of 5 viral potential, but the conversion is 2 out of 5. Raw talking heads. Virality potential, so me directly coming to the camera, right? This has around 4 to 5. The conversion is super high, but I'll tell you what, it is not convenient if you do not have the experience of coming to the camera and talking shit, right? Because you need to be really comfortable with camera in the first place. Second thing, you need to be a very good communicator. You have to think in straight lines, and it's really hard. Like I cannot do it. I can do it in long form content, but short form I cannot do it. Then you have storytelling montages. Now you're talking about, hey, I was person A, I am person B now. I was broke, $0 in my bank account. Now I make 5 figures every single month. How did that happen? You create a storytelling video. One of the most viral potential videos out there with good B-rolls. If you have a lot of footage from your past and you have good aesthetic B-rolls right now talking about this potential, crazy thing. It can attract a lot of IVP, I would say, but not specifically ICP. Like ICP would be less percentage. So the circle in the IVP could be a bit smaller. That's the thing. The conversion is not that much. It'll attract a lot of people. Great for top of the funnel content, but not for any other parts. Then you have visual explainers, something like this, the whiteboard videos, the Miro board videos that you see, or presentations like these, right? But you know what? It takes so much time in order to create such videos. It's not super convenient, but again, like once in a week is a great option. The virality, sometimes if you're creating top of the funnel content, again, you have multiple tiers to it. If you're creating top of the funnel content, which is explainer videos like these, yep, the camera died in between, but we're not stopping. So coming to the visual explainer, again, like I said, okay, the next one is educational voiceover. So this is where you have information, but you have turned that into a voiceover script that you can talk. Why am I talking like this? But you can talk, you can narrate, right? And you can have B-rolls on top of it, which is relevant, right? Something showing about your work, let's say whatever the B-rolls that you can create in order to share that information more clearly. One of the easiest way to get so much traffic, right, for the top of the funnel content, if you're doing info based, right? Tofu, top of the funnel content, this is a great format in order to do it. Conversion is not 5 out of 5, it's 4 out of 5, I would say, but you get a lot of leads. If you have good lead magnet towards it, you can pretty much convert on the DMs. Then you have client case studies. The virality of this content is not much because people, when they see some new person on your brand, they might not really be super interested in towards it. And client interviews are pretty much, not that great high quality. If you're meeting them in person, then, you can pretty much turn them that like a podcast teaser trailer. You can post it online. And if you do that, that can go viral. But since you're selling something, the algorithm might not promote it, but it is great to have it pinned to your account. It's a non-negotiable, but when they see you from your top of the funnel content, now they see this pinned reel about a case study, now they're nurtured already, they're sold, right? They can see themselves in the ICP, and then they'll be pretty much sold. So it's super high converting, but not a lot of views. Then you have scripting, talking heads, something that I typically do, something that I love doing, something I didn't enjoy doing. I have like certain bullet points written down for the topic that I want to talk about. And then I have the camera here, I have my laptop here, I have my phone or my DJI Osmo that I'm recording right now on. And I just build, have my own authentic script. I have the hook ready though. I have the hook scripted, which is only scripted. I have the call to action, the end part of the video scripted. The remaining one are just bullet points. I'm just going to talk out of it, and my editor is going to just clip out the most important part and make it super sharp and concise. So it is super free. When you record like this, it kind of needs practice on camera. You gotta imagine that you're talking to someone that you know, someone that you're teaching to, and think the camera doesn't even exist over there. You can also do this, right? Some people face camera you hear, they have their script that they're reading, or let's say a person who's asking questions and they talk to them directly. That's a podcasting format. Now, podcasting format have good reach, but if you're also educating, it doesn't have a lot of conversion. It can have like 3.5 out of 5 conversion, just because when you're not having an eye contact, it kind of reduces the trust, and that plays a key role. But again, if you're giving out lead magnet towards it, diverting the people to a YouTube video like this, it works, bro. It works. So there are multiple formats. Then you have normal B-roll voiceover videos, right? The most common, the 19-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old kind of videos. Now these ones get you a lot of traffic, but again, you will not have an authentic personal brand if you do that. And second thing is, bro, like the conversion is not that great. It will give you a lot of traffic, but again, you can have another content bucket that will nurture these people. So yeah, that's how you have multiple formats. I would say pick one that gets you a lot of views, and pick one which is hybrid, which gets you conversions like medium 3 out of 3, and which is convenient, which gets you like, let's say like an educational voiceover, right? Or let's say a scripted talking head, which gives you traffic as well, which also has a lot of conversion. Then you can have maybe a Miro board video occasionally, or let's say a raw talking head, an educational voiceover. But this one has to primarily focus on getting views, this one hybrid, and this one primarily has to focus on closing, right? More deals, client interviews, anything that you can do consistently to get more closures, more cash collected. Just focus on 2 to 3 different formats, not more than that. If you do more than that, I would say, yeah, like 2 primarily, and the third one has to be experimental, or the fourth one has to be experimental. Out of 10 videos, at least 2 should be, like your experiment, so that you know which format to choose when any of these formats stopped working all of a sudden because of some algorithm changes that happen. It usually happens every 6 months. There is a restart, right? There's a shift in the formats that really work. Now the B-roll format is not working. The talking head, the authentic, non-documented format is working more. So if you can focus on that, if you can start improving your communication skills, if you can start articulating properly with your thoughts, if you can, whatever that you can do, that's a good option. But yeah, I think we are done with the educational part of things. Now let's move to the legion part of things. I don't care if you believe in me, if you don't believe in me. I've closed over $30,000 of deals without taking a single sales call. Yes, you heard me right. I've closed all of these deals on my DMs, completely on my DMs. Sold high ticket $500 to $2,000 deals on my DMs without taking a single sales call. The remaining one I did take sales calls because different criteria, different offers and all that stuff. But here's exactly how I've improved my lead acquisition system and my sales system to get me to close deals on DMs. And you know what? I didn't close them. My setter closed them. I was literally sleeping, bro. Lead ac and sales, my favorite part of this business model. It feels like a video game right now, what I'm going to talk about. So just pay super attention, because if you don't get this right, everything that you have done until now is just waste of time and just you messing around. But yeah, I think this is a slide. Yep. So let's talk about, first of all, what the F is a funnel. Now, funnel is like a pipeline where you turn your viewers, you push into the pipeline, and out of that comes cash. You convert your viewers, your eyeballs into cash. That is a funnel. The process, the entire pipeline is what funnel is. So entire conversion happens in this pipeline, right? That's why you call it a funnel, as the name suggests, right? That's the funnel. Now, that's like the very layman terms of explaining it. So usually there are 4 stages of this machine. First of all, these people discover you through your content. Short form content like the reels that I've explored, the funnels that I put, the reels, everything, right? That's where they discover. Now they head towards your lead magnet or your long form content, that is your YouTube. Now this is where you build more trust and get them more nurtured. So content to nurture, the second stage. Then you either have them on your DMs or your VSL or your landing page, your website, your masterclass, whatever the funnel that you're choosing. This is the most important part. The funnel is literally here. This is the funnel part, the third stage. of the sales cycle. And then here, this is where you have your sales call. You haven't closed them yet. It's your sales call. So this is how the entire thing works. This is the flow of things. Until now, we have covered content. We have covered about lead magnets in YouTube. Now we're going to talk about DM VSL websites. If you're struggling to, if you want to understand what type of content you have to create on YouTube, it's pretty simple. The same tofu, mofu, bofu. Create some content that is going to get them leads. Create the mega video account to your coaching. For example, the one video that is going to completely build trust, something like this, a mini course or 30-minute, 40-minute in-depth video explaining about what your offer is. Not what your offer is, but like how can you help solve a certain problem for a certain kind of people in a certain period of time. Do that big video, a course kind of thing. And you can also have many sales objection videos again in order to nurture them even more. That's pretty much the YouTube content strategy. Literally replicate the same one that you have on short form. But I would say the percentage has to be more on trust building, more niche content on YouTube, like more in-depth content and less surface level content. On Instagram, it is opposite. So yeah. Now, let's talk about the funnel part. So I said, right, you have content and you have the lead acquisition, like the DMs, the website, the VSL, all that stuff, right? What is this pipeline? What is the journey looking like from a viewer to a prospect, an ideal client, right? How do you even convert him? It's not like, hey, go and land upon my website. They won't do that, right? You gotta push them in a way that doesn't feel pushy. You have to lead them in a way. That's a right word. You have to lead them in a way in order to land into your funnels. These are your funnel channels. Now I'm going to break down exactly the multiple types of funnels that are pretty much common in the coaching, consulting, and agency industry. And I'm going to tell you exactly which one is the best one for you in the next couple of minutes. So, types of funnels. The first one we have, so I'm going to also rate them on the way of simplicity and effectiveness as well. So first one, let's write the DM me funnel. You might have already seen it. If you follow my personal brand, you see comment the word DM, comment this word OS or scale. I'll DM you and all stuff. This is DM me funnel. Then you have YouTube VSL funnel. You have webinar masterclass funnel. Fourth one, awful lot of funnel. Newsletter funnel. Perfect. So these are the 6 funnels, the most common funnels that you see in the coaching consulting agency world, which is going to be about how you are going to convert the viewer into your paying customer. And this is the pipelines that they're going to go through from. So firstly, let's rate them and talk about why I have given them that rating. Talking about DME funnel, the most effective and the most simple funnel out there. You don't have to create any infrastructure. You don't have to create any extra complicated process. You don't even have to create a website for this. I'm going to talk about again, like the story sequences, the BOFU that I haven't discussed yet. I'm going to talk about when I go in depth about this, I'll go in depth about this one as well in the next couple of minutes. But before I do that, this is the most effective in the simplicity funnel. And I'm going to rate the effectiveness I would put as 5. The simplicity I was put it as 5 as well. So it is a 5 out of 5 funnel. Now you have YouTube and VSL funnel. The effectiveness is 5 and the simplicity is around 3. Then you have webinar masterclass funnel. So the YouTube and VSL funnel, why it is effective is because YouTube nurtures them. The VSL takes them to a landing page. They have everything, but sometimes what happens is you got to build that landing page, you got to write a good copy, you got to create a good video sales letter, and creating YouTube videos are also kind of tough. A lot of YouTube videos are kind of tough. And that's why I'm going to put the simplicity as 3. Then you have websites and masterclass funnel. So this only works if you have a lot of people coming in through your personal brand, right? That's the problem only with this one. That's why the simplicity, I would say, is not that simple. I would really rate it as 2.5 or 3. Effectiveness is 4. I would say even 5, 4.5. I would say 4.5. So simplicity is 2.5 to 3 is because you got to build that entire email notification thing. I've done it before. So I'm telling you, an email notification thing, the entire sign up page. After you sign up, you also got to build an entire ladder. You got to create an entire webinar script as well. How you're going to create the presentation and all that stuff. You've got to convince them, persuade them. You got to present an offer. You got to create a discount. You got to put weekly timers, and you have to keep repeating the process over and over again on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, or a monthly basis, conducting this webinar. It takes a lot of your time, a lot of your involvement as well. A website has to be created, multiple websites has to be created, for example. A lot of forms has to be created to collect a lot of data. A team has to be built, even like 1 person, 2 person team with AI right now. So to push out notification, WhatsApp groups, all that stuff, it is complicated. That's why I'm going to put it as 2.5. And you also need a lot of traffic coming in. You need to have at least 1,000 people signing up for every masterclass that you have. And and then you're going to qualify them, out of which 10 people, 30 people would be opting for a sales call, and then very few people would convert. So right, that's the problem with this one. That's why you need a lot of traffic coming in, and you might attract a lot of unqualified ICP as well. People who are paying high ticket would not attend this one. They would directly want to have access to you, and that's why they would usually end up watching YouTube or let's say DM. That's why if you're selling something mid ticket, great. High ticket also great. Someone like Shelby Sapp is also doing this. But yeah, offer ladder funnel. Offer ladder funnel is where you have a low ticket offer for $99. Then you have mid ticket offer. It's a ladder. A mid ticket offer, let's say for $4.99. Then you have a high ticket for let's say $19.99. A very long sales cycle, not super effective. You might have months converting from this low ticket to high ticket, sorry, mid ticket. So selling digital products and you're thinking, oh, you might upsell them, collecting their emails. Good option, but not great if you're in Indian market. Not a lot of quality ICP is going to buy that. I would say don't even charge them for the low ticket. Give them for free and you can pitch them high ticket, mid ticket offer for them. So simplicity, I would put 3 because you got to develop those digital products again, create multiple offers. Effectiveness, I would put 4. Oh, I also forgot another one. Community. Community is very big one. Then you have newsletter, not gonna work in a lot of Indian people, so I'll just leave this one. I'll just eliminate this. Then you have forms. Works especially for fitness. You can put a form, ask them qualified questions. You can call them directly. Works a lot, especially when you have a lot of case studies, when you have a lot of content out there. So much trust. You can create a form. A sales team can directly reach out to them, call them directly, text them on WhatsApp or any kind of DM, and then have a conversation with them. It's very fast, very quick, simple as well. Not really. It's 4. Effective if you're doing around, let's say, $500 ticket price, $1,000 ticket price. Great. I would say 4 to 5 effectiveness. Great for fitness coaches and like normal technical skill related forms and all that stuff. Then you have communities. The school communities where you record courses, you have communities people, you give a free community access or a low ticket community access, and then you intend to sell them on a high ticket offer. Bro, that's not gonna work. Especially in India. Not just in India, anywhere. First of all, why India is because these school communities are not really big in India as of now. Second thing is simplicity is a lot. You need so much traffic coming into this community in order to also have very few conversion rate of like 3% to 5% in terms of selling them for upsell, right? For the one-on-one. I've had this client come to me who was scaling his school community and he never was able to sign clients, even though he had a lot of people in his community, like hundreds of people in his community. No one actually able to convert into high ticket. That's the problem with this. I have tried this also. So simplicity, I have 3. Effectiveness, I would say 2. I would say 1. It's bad, bro. It's bad. Don't do this. That puts up DME funnel, YouTube funnel, and offer ladder. So offer ladder works in one thing only. If you're directly, okay, let's do the 8th one. Cohort. Simplicity is 4. Effectiveness is 6. I know this because I've done this brand. Like I've done this multiple times. I don't know why I forgot to write even this one. I think I've put it here. But yeah, cohorts are mad converting, especially in Indian ticket prices, Indian population demographics. If you're teaching any technical skill, or let's say any make money online kind of thing, if you're a business coach, whatever that is, right? Cohort is crazy. You do the, let's say, a mid-ticket offer for, let's say, anywhere from $500 to $700. You can give discounts on this as well. But you know what? Once you give so much value and trust with your mid-ticket offer from your cohorts, you can always upsell them for your high ticket. I charge around $2,000 to $3,000 on a one-time thing, and the upsell rate is around like 33% from the mid-ticket. So let's say I have 10 people coming out for the cohort. I at least have 3.3 to 4 people. I mean like 3 to 4 people converting for one-on-one. So you have cash flow coming from 2 spectrums, and this is mad money. Like if you're in the, you say, any kind of coaching space, trading, or let's say you're teaching some drop shipping course, any kind of make money space, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Again, like even if you're trying to teach them any technical skills, this is also a way to go. Right now, what I'm going to do is niche down into few important parts of the funnels. So like the important funnels, I'm going to go even more in depth about this. This is going to be an entire different long form video again altogether. I'll just write down what are the most working funnels again here. Something that I have a lot of experience with. One is DM me funnel, and the second one is the cohort. Third one is YouTube VSL. So it can be VSL or book a call. I'm going to be going with 3 different funnels in depth. The remaining one, if you are interested, just put me in the comments. I'll just create a video about it separately. But since a lot of people will fall into these categories, I'm just going to talk about these. And a lot of people make this one mistake of putting the calendar link in their Instagram. Like I've done it before as well. What happens is you don't end up nurturing them in the first place. So even if you book any calls, they're not going to really convert into a sales call. Your sales closing rate will dip. So right now, our goal is not just to attract these people into your funnel or get more booked calls, but also to improve our closing rate. That's the whole point. Oh wait, so before I go into that, I'm going to talk, actually before even talking about DME funnel and all that stuff, I'll be talking about story sequences, because story sequences is what going to lead our viewer to our customer into any of these funnels. Now this is where you have DME. Now this is where you have YouTube. Now this is where you have the cohort. So if you want to get into any of these funnels, you got to create the story sequences to convert your viewer into your customer. So your potential customer, right? So I'm going to talk about it. This is a very unique strategy that not anyone is doing, especially in the Indian personal branding space. I've seen a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people, but they don't do this. I don't know why they don't do this, because this is a cheat code. How do I know this? Because every time I get a client on board, I ask them, bro, why do you even work with me? And they always come back to this story sequences all the time. Right? They always take, hey bro, I've seen that you posted the story about it, right? I really relate with it a lot. So right now, I'm just going to break down exactly how you can start. So this is exactly how you're going to, I've put the presentation as well. I forgot about it completely. But these are the 4 types of stories that you need to create as an online entrepreneur or as an online service provider in order to attract your clients. First of all, the basic fundamental is people buy from people. People buy from people when they know that person, when they trust that person, when they relate with that person. That connection is what really makes people buy, not the expertise. Because you can be the expert, you can be the genius, but people won't buy from you because they don't trust you yet. Unless you're like, you're the number 1 in the space. But even sometimes that even doesn't happen because they only love working with people that they love working with. Let's talk about this now. The first one is personality-based stories. Then we'll talk about value-based stories. Then we are going to talk about business-related stories. And then we have curiosity-driven call to action. A lot of times, all the people in the industry only focus on curiosity-driven call to action. Why? It's because they only want to pitch people, they only want to convert people. And what happens? You become salesy. Instagram kind of reduces your engagement as well. Your views dip, your reach dips, your trust dips. If person sees it frequently, what happens is he's going to just skip your stories, and that is going to take a toll on your personal brand. So always don't just focus on this. You gotta focus on personality based. Pretty simple. I'll give you a system on how you do it. You open up your notes app, type down, like just journal about a personality trait that you have. For example, I care about my family, or I used to have self-doubt before. I'm going to talk about this now. I just write down a small journal about, hey, like I used to be in college, I used to doubt myself a lot. I couldn't work on my goals at all. I couldn't focus on my studies at all. But now I'm making this much amount of money, and the only thing that helped me was, believing in myself, working on myself, focusing on small goals and all that stuff. I write this journal right now, and I concise it to make it crisp so that people can just skim through it. Mostly what I do is, let's say I have a big paragraph, right? Let's say I have 9 lines of the content. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this stuff. I'm going to just open Instagram, put a good photo of mine, which could kind of relate to the story, right? And on top of it, I'm just going to copy paste this text. I'll just make sure that it is pretty readable. It is good aesthetic, follows my visual branding that I spoke about, right? The colors that I'm talking about, the fonts that I'm talking about. I take a second photo again, copy the remaining the next 3 lines. I'm gonna paste it here, a different photo again, post this one, copy this again, take another photo. Take a different photo again, paste the text here, post it. It takes barely 5 minutes to do this. That's it. And to write all this 4 story sequences, it takes me around 30 minutes in an entire week to create the story sequences. That's it. Literally 30 minutes. I write all this copy on a Monday or a Sunday, and I keep posting it throughout the week using the same system. I automatically already have the refined version. I've trained my AI systems to give me the version that I want, exactly the kind of tonality that I need, the number of lines that I need, and literally gonna copy, put an image, post it. It takes me 5 minutes to post one story sequence, and this gets me a lot of cash. So personality is that. Then you have value-based. You're a fitness coach. Give some value to people. Give a free lead magnet again. A lead magnet again can, trigger a lot of ICP, right? Target your ICP here, right? If you're an entrepreneur, this will be a cheat code I'm going to talk about. Give some value, how they can improve their fitness stats. Give them a lead magnet with a call to action. You are in the DMs again. Business related content. Again, it depends on your offer. You can bring up case studies of your fitness coaching program. Let's say Rahul is this client that you have and you help them go from 80 kgs to 70 kgs. You document this process now. You genuinely show that you care about your clients and you talk about how you've helped them. What is the process that you've helped them? You don't put any call to action. You don't pitch them any service. You're just going to document it. to build that proof. On the 4th day, you post a curiosity-driven call to action. You're like, now you call out the ICP again, you hook them up, right? Again, the value based on the business base, it has to be around 3 to 4 story slides. That's it, not more than that. The sequence should have only 3 to 4 slides. The curiosity has to be around 4 to 6. That's the max, not more than that. If you go beyond 6, what happens is you end up, losing your viewers over time from first one to the last one, so the retention is low. So even if the ICP comes in, you might not really watch this. Now, how do you go with the curiosity driven call to action? Now, this is the most important part because you're going to sell. So I'm going to talk about it separately here. Call to action stories. You're going to address the first slide here, right? This is a story sequence here. You're going to address their pain point. Something that they're like, it's like you talking a pain point about a fit. For example, you're an entrepreneur, you make a lot of money, but you feel underconfident and insecure about your body. I'm taking an example of a fitness coach. That's a pain point. Then you transition into here, right? Then you talk about, give some context, give some more, you twist the knife now, you twist the pain point. The problem is you're not lazy because you've already made so much more money. But the thing is, you do not have clarity right now. So you're giving him, okay, what's the problem? You're making him problem aware about this now. Okay, the problem is I do not have clarity, I do not have a right system, right? A right protocol, right diet, right everything. Someone who can put them accountable to reach their goals. Now you're like, you can either twist the knife even more. You can be like, you also know that someone who's better shape than you is walking into rooms more charismatic, more confident, is able to sign more deals, while you are kind of feeling insecure, even though you made a lot of money. Something is shallow in your heart. You talk about that. Or you end it here itself and be like, present a story. Take an ICP story. This is Rahul. Rahul lost 10 kgs from 80 to 70. He was already a multi-millionaire, but he was insecure about his body. Now what he does, he relates to this person, Rahul. This guy who's watching this, for example, the person who's watching this is Raju. And now he relates to Rahul. Hey, damn bro, like he helped Rahul to do that. He's also an entrepreneur, lost his weight. Now he feels more confident. He puts up a testimonial, right? Let's say now Rahul puts a message, or let's say a video, records a video talking about after losing weight, I feel super confident. Now that's what the dream outcome that Raju wants in his life. Then you talk about, if you have more, just present more of it in one single page, only 2 of them for case study. Or you can be like process. You can not process, but give them a context word. So I know that you do not have time. That's why I have a very, structured system. You don't have to work out. Clear all the objections here. You don't have to work out this many times. You don't have to, sit and eat some bullshit, right? I'm going to provide you whatever that you like. I'm going to customize your diet. It's not a cookie cutter method for everyone. Now he's more convinced. The objections are getting handled. Now you drop a call to action with an urgency, right? Tell them you have slots are limited, and tell them that you're going to, the first few people are going to get a discount, right? Or something like that. Just, you can be like, comment the word fitness. I will personally DM you and help you figure out. This is how you build a call to action story. That's the framework. This is what made me sign over 30,000 deals in just a couple of months. This is what I'm talking about. Again, always use all the 4 things. This is just the 4th one, right? This is just the 4th one. Now, what you're going to track here, the KPIs that you need to really focus on is, what are the views that you're getting here? What are the views that you're getting here? So you can analyze the average drop-off rate. So how many people are dropping from each story sequence? Let's say you have 3,000 views here. You have, let's say, 5,000 views here. Now, how do you calculate the average? Is you subtract this by this, and you 5,000 by 3,000 divided by 5,000 into 100%, you get the drop-off rate. 2,000 people have dropped it. Now, what is 2,000 people out of 500 is what you get the percentage. You have to track this. You have to have as low as possible. Now, how do you have the low? You got to improve the copy of the story sequence. You got to make it more interesting. You got to make sure that you're not repeating the same thing over and over again. If you do that, you will lose your retention. Then, how many people out of this are even replying? Total number of replies that you get here. And out of this, how many are ICP, your qualified leads that you're getting? Now, why this is going to help you is because when you have total number of, so how you can improve, what's the remedy for having lower replies to this? Is now you can see, is it already, is it convincing enough to actually put the call to action here, right? So out of this many views, if only this percentage, let's say you have 3,000 viewers here, and out of this, let's say 30% have replied, 30 people have replied, the percentage is going to be around 1% of the people who replied for 3,000 people. Now so next time you get 20 people, 15 people, you have to analyze why is there a drop in like 0.5 percentage? Is my storytelling not that converting? Is it not that convincing? Is this structure that I'm doing, this format that I'm doing here, is it not working out? or this story is not relating with my ICP, you gotta ask yourself that question. And that's how you're going to test multiple ways. It's not always the case studies. You can also interrupt people. You can, again, like this comes to pain point. Is this pain point not, triggering these people to reply to the story? That is what you're going to ask. If it is not, experiment with different pain points. Experiment with different case studies that you have. Experiment with different, the unique mechanism here, whatever that you're providing here, right? Change the thing in order to optimize this. Once you optimize this, track out of how many replies you're getting is your ICP. Now for all of this, again, the SaaS that we've built tracks everything, right? That's a unique thing that we have developed in Creatorpreneur OS. Creatorpreneur OS, we've developed a sales OS that helps you track your story sequences, the number of qualified people that are coming into your funnel, and how many of them are your ICP, and how many of them are going to book calls with you, and how many of you are getting closed. I've showed the preview in the beginning, but that is what it is only accessible. This is only available for our clients and for my personal brand. But yeah, maybe soon, I don't know if I'll launch it or not, I'll make it a private thing for the premium that I'm paying with whoever is working with me. This is how you get people to your DMs in the first place, right? This is how story sequences work. I'm hoping this is clear for you guys. Now let's move on to the next part of thing, which is the DM flow, right? I'll create a different video about sales if you want me to create a video about sales and also, but this is the most important part. Like, how do you even get them to your funnel in the first place? Again, now what have you done? Whether you're selling the YouTube video. So if you're doing the YouTube, the last call to action would be, I'll send you a lead magnet. If you're doing cohort, it's the same call to action as the DME funnel as well. So the cohort and the one-on-one mentorship, the high ticket direct selling on DMs is pretty much the same. For YouTube, you're just going to be like, reply this, I'll send you the YouTube video. So now let's only focus on so what happens with the YouTube? I'll just clear that out. It's pretty simple. So once you have the link that is sent to your ICP, the link that is sent, now they're going to open the YouTube video, the main video that they're going to see. They're going to fall into your entire ecosystem of your YouTube videos. First link is going to be a VSL, a video sales site, a web page that you've created. A web page is going to have a video here of you basically trying to, you have a bait hook, you're going to convince them, provide all your case studies, what is your unique mechanism, everything. You have your big title here, directly targeting your ICP problems, and how are you going to provide them, what is your offer in order to help them get from their pain point to their desired outcome. You have your client testimonials here, then you have book a call with me. Even you have a book a call with me link over here as well. You have a book a call with me link here as well. You also have your calendar link here. That's it. This is pretty much the landing page that you need for, again, once you book the call, send them sales assets. The sales assets can be videos of yours clearing out all the frequently asked questions, and in the calendar link you can have questions to pre-qualify them. Maximum put only 4. Usually their revenue, just get their revenue thing, because you can pretty much qualify them on the basis of revenue, because if people are booking a call with you, they know what they're signing up to, but you gotta understand if they're able to pay it or not. So you gotta have that question in your funnel. If they do not have the capacity to pay X amount of money, let's say multiple, you can have like 2 to 5K or 4 figures of investment. If they say no, I cannot pay that, you're just going to send them a message and cancel the event and be like, hey, working with us requires an investment. I think that you're not financially ready in order to work with us. Always watch our free content. That'll help you get to the next mark. So this is pretty much about the YouTube funnel. Now let's talk about the DM funnel, the reply to the keyword. Now you get them here. Now the point is, how do you qualify them? That's the part. The first part is qualify them. How do you qualify? Depends. So it depends on your offer, but the usual qualification happens on how you've qualified your IVP to your ICP, right? In the beginning, I've told, right? The filtering from IVP to ICP is the basic questions that you need to ask yourself. Are they able to afford it? Are they serious? Are they into this category? All that stuff. You're basically going to ask them the same questions here, but in a good way. Send them messages. Hey, acknowledge them, listen to them properly, listen to their problems properly. A lot of times what happens is the setters who trying to reply to these people become too salesy. They're like, either buy from me or you just get the F out of my way, right? You don't want to do that, because the person who's not converting right now might convert after 3 months. Right? So now let's talk about the cohort, which is a mid-ticket. This is primarily should be signed from directly on your DMs, or you have a sales team person who handles this small ticket prices, because you don't want to be wasting your time here. So you qualify them. First of all, understand their problem, do the discovery, do the digging, what their problem is, because now this will be useful when you have objections, when you drop the price to them. So ask them, are you serious? Ask them, why are you serious? Ask them, what have you tried before? Ask them, why haven't you reached your dream outcome yet? What is the biggest struggle that you're facing? Why do you think that I could help you out? Let them sell themselves for your service, for your offering, right? Ask them everything that is in your favor. Ask them, why only me? Why did you even reply to this message? What made you reply to this message? And before you also pitch them the price, be like, acknowledge whatever that you need to offer. Tie everything. So all the pain points that they tell, send them case studies. Let's, like client screenshots, all the feedback screenshots. And again, tell stories. Be like, hey, if for example, if he's like, I want to lose weight, I've been struggling, I have a very long work days, but I couldn't lose my weight. Would you be able to help me out with it? Now I can be like, wow, that sounds like something that we do. We actually helped one of our clients, Rahul, lose 10 kgs. He's also a corporate worker like you. He also was, having a very long days, and we were able to structure using this mechanism. We were able to get him lose 10 kgs in literally like less than 90 days. And then you send them the feedback. This is what this person tells about. Personalized according to the ICP's problem. So you should have multiple testimonials feedback in terms of the the pain points that you're trying to solve. And these people have over here in the chats. Once you do that, it becomes super trustworthy, because when you tell people that, hey, we do this, obviously you'll tell that 20%, right? And you should also tell no to some little things, right? Because that no builds more trust than saying yes. So if you say, no, we don't do that, but we do this. When you tell that, you automatically build that trust, because now on the other side, he'll be thinking, damn bro, he's only telling me truth now. You should be telling truth. You don't lie to people. Don't scam people. But yeah, once you have the case study, now you should ask them, hey, now after looking at everything, after explaining everything, do you have any questions that you want to ask? They're like, no. Now you ask them, out of 1 to 10, how much do you think this cohort is going to help you reach your dream outcome from the pain point that you are in? Stress it again, pain point again, give the summary. Ask them why. Why 10? If they say 10 or if they say 7, ask them why. Now they're going to sell themselves again, summary, right? Now you're like, cool, for you to go from pain point to this, to help me out with this, the cohort is going to cost you around $499. And the slots are closing soon. You only have 2 slots left. The prices are going to go up by $100 in the next couple of hours. Take nothing. He might either reply, he might either ghost you. Now what your job is to just follow up. Now what you're going to do is go back to the objections and just strike them over here. Hey bro, like you're doing the same thing again. Do you think like wasting more time now, not enrolling it would get you to the dream outcome? Right? Handle the objections again from themselves. So, literally, even if you provide the chat summary, chat screenshot to ChatGPT, it'll handle better, it can be able to handle those objections from the things that you have told about and the kind of objections that is coming up with. Now, this is how you do cohort selling on DMs. This is how I closed almost like 25,000 to 30,000 deals literally on my DMs itself. So that's what you're going to do. I am kind of missing some numbers because sometimes I told 30,000, sometimes 25,000. I might be downselling to 25,000, I'm going to be upselling to 30,000. I don't really remember. I forget these numbers sometimes, but really bad with numbers. So that's the whole point. Now it's the same thing even for the one-on-one high ticket selling as well. But instead of selling the cohort, you tell that this is not going to be like, you're not going to convince them, okay, this is going to be this much percentage and all that stuff. You're going to ask them less questions, right? Because more of the discovery happens in the call. So you ask them basic qualification questions. Hey, what have you been doing? What is the revenue looking like? What is the cash collected last month, right? To get them more thing. Are you serious right now? What have you tried before? And send them some case studies of your clients that you worked with, similar clients that you worked with. And you can be like, how confident are you that this is going to help? Or do you have any questions? Like, give them 3 options. 100% confident that this is going to work. 80% confident, but I have some questions to ask. 30% I'm kind of skeptical. These are the options that you give them by asking the question, right? Ask them, how confident are you? And then you give these 3 options. So they're forced to choose any of the options. And if they have 30%, ask them why. Clear those objections again, back here. Now you're like, cool, why don't we hop on a call this Thursday, right? Don't send them a calendar link. If you send them the calendar link, what happens is they are lazy enough, they won't book any calls. So you don't end up converting them. What you gotta do is ask them, give them a limited time. Are you free tomorrow? If they say tomorrow, they'll be like, yeah, for tomorrow. So always give them a time slot directly. Give them the timing. Don't give them, when are you free? Don't ask them that. Ask them, are you free tomorrow at 3 p.m.? If it's yes, it's yes, right? Because it's hard for them to say no. So you ask them that. You schedule a call and you also like qualify them on the finances as well. You should be like, hey, this is going to cost, are you willing to invest around 2K to around like 5K into building this thing and solving that problem and getting this output? If they say yes, they're going to hop on, you are going to pitch in the call. If they say no, you ask them why and justify their investment. Handle this objection in the chat, book them a call again. But yeah, that's how you do it. The goal here is to sell the call, not the offer. For the cohort, it's just sell the cohort. So you're not directly in the cohort funnel, right? Don't confuse and, don't offer multiple offers. Don't be like, hey, we also do one-on-one. Why don't you hop on a one-on-one call? Don't do that. Directly pitch them the cohort and you can convert them later on after you nurture them properly. Once you build more trust, once they enter into your cohort, then you can pitch them subtly. Hey bro, like in the cohort itself, right? You can be like, hey, like I also do one-on-one. It's going to be a more premium thing. I'm not trying to hard sell anything. Just if you're interested, do let me know. Some of the case studies are these. In the end of the call, in the beginning of the call, give them a deal, right? You can be like, if you register now, you'll get this discount. If you register now, you'll get this discount. Just to give them more information about it. Just makes it super convincing for them to really incentivize them to really sign up really quick. So design the offer in such a way that it becomes super easy for them to take this offer. That's how it can work. That's it. This is like the conversation flow. Like I said again, like we have their own software here and all that stuff. The last part, which is AI strategy, not complicated at all. So this summarizes the entire session of this, right? The AI system. This is going to increase your productivity by at least 10 times, mark my words. So first of all, is the foundation part. Get all the documents, the ICP, the Contrarian sheet, right? And then you also get the credibility bank, the unique mechanism, what your offer is in the first place, and your competition analysis, right? What is your competition doing? What you try to do opposite of that. Just write it down your IVP document as well. Now, after you do that, the second one is content strategy. So these are basically the action system, not just AI, but the actionable step as well. The content strategy, now map out your visual branding, platform, frequency, what is going to be your top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel content, the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel content, and the bottom of the funnel content. And based on that, choose the content buckets that you want to do. Only from 2 to 4 is the max, minimum and max, 2 to 4. And if you're just starting out, your strategy must be more of top of the funnel content to get more distribution. So once you have the content buckets, write down the formats that you're choosing, formats to create content, and also make sure that the content hooks, structure, and it's formats again. So this is what you do. And then in the third part, sales and lead ag, figure out your funnel, create sales assets, lead magnets, testimonials. Always remember to create the DM flow. Make sure that you have objections already, like any common objections that you already face, just make sure that you already have a flow to clear out all these objections. Calendar link, and you have, that's it, bro. This is pretty much it. This is what you need to do right now. So if you're a coach or a consultant, this is what we do for our clients. Creatorpreneur OS is something that we help coaches, consultants, and agency owners do this in order to attract high-ticket leads. And this is exactly what we do. And on top of this, we also have a software that we create. And we create these two parts, everything. We actually create all of these three parts for our clients in order to grow their personal brand, build an authentic one that really differentiates and makes them completely stand out, and get them leads. The most important part of things. And we do it with the plug and play of AI. So we train the entire AI SaaS, mini version of a SaaS that we've built in terms of all the foundation, all the content strategy. Since we're a consulting business, since we're not done for you, so you only pay one-time investment with us. We train the AI to completely understand everything about your business and all the content buckets in all of our context, the resources that we use in order to make the AI chatbot, just like me, my knowledge is just going to this, right? So this AI chatbot will act like 24/7 Varshit for your business, basically helping you figure out anything even after we stop working together after 3 months. My goal is always to upsell after, because I want to give you results and upsell. But if you end up stop working with me, you'll always have this lead acquisition systems, the foundation, the content system, also with the SaaS, which will give you a lot of data tracking systems so that you can have all the story sequences, the number of people that you're closing, the number of people you're booking, the number of people on your funnel as well, everything tracked in one ecosystem as well. We're trying to build more products in terms of the foundation, developing these assets and developing this content strategy as well. But right now we have internal AI bots who does it. We have a lot of knowledge which we have trained in order to do it, but I want to finally launch it as a software in the future, 110%, give it to the public on a subscription basis. But the unique mechanism is pretty simple. My goal is to work with clients that I love working with, and I don't want to force a certain strategy with them. I want to figure out what is best for them, which suits best for them according to what they are comfortable doing it for a long period of time. So if at all you want to work with me, we have a team who does everything with you, and we make sure that you get insane results. If you want to work with us, just schedule a call from the link in the description below, and I will see you on the other side. If you don't want to work with me, subscribe to my channel. Even if you want to work with me, subscribe to my channel, because I'll be dropping so much gold
And also comment whatever you want more in-depth content, right? So I'll break it down, because bro, like if I have to break every single topic out right now, it would take 10 hours of class, which I'll eventually do. But if you can tell me exactly where you need more in-depth content about, I will just create a content about it, or another big session out of it. And also let me know what do you think about this setup, like the whiteboard setup, the presentation setup, and this face-to-face. Do you like more of the presentation part where I take the Miro board and do it on my laptop, or do you like this setup? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. I will see you on the other video or on the call. Bye.